Hey Bulls and Bears, it's Thursday, May 26th, 2022. Quick update here. Let's talk about the housing market. Now, over the past few months, we've been seeing a shift with the rise in mortgage rates. We saw the plunge in new home sales just recently, in which we see that new home sales here for the recent month have plunged to the lowest since prior to the previous housing bubble going bust. And that's got a lot of people saying, hey, this is the turning point. This is the bursting of the housing bubble. Now we're seeing articles like this one out of CNBC. Home listings suddenly jump as sellers worry they may miss out on the red hot housing market. And let's go over some of the numbers here. The supply of homes for sale jumped to 9% 1 week compared to the same week 1 year ago, according to Redfin. Real estate brokerage also reported that new listings rose nearly twice as fast in the 4 weeks ending May 15th as they did in the same period a year ago. Also, per the NAR, pending home sales dropped nearly 4% in April from the month prior and 9% from April 2021. So year over year change 9%. Pending sales dropped the same as the amount of inventory increase of 9%. Also, out of Adam Data Solutions, home sales profits are declining in the first quarter of 2022, and this goes right along with the deceleration of home prices. Home prices are still going up, just not as quickly as they once were. In a sign that the nationwide housing boom is slowing, the latest profit margin was down 51.6% in the fourth quarter of 2021. While profit margins often decrease during relatively slow winter home buying season, the latest dip of more than 4 percentage points marked the first quarterly decline since the fourth quarter of 2019 and the largest since the first quarter of 2011. Also, gross profits, while also near record highs, followed a similar pattern in the first quarter. The typical single-family home across the country generated a gross profit in the first quarter of $103,000. That's down from about $108,000 from the fourth quarter of last year, in another sign of a housing market slowdown. Now, along with this slowdown in the housing market, we're also seeing slowdowns in consumer spending and especially discretionary spending. For many months, we saw a downtrend in new jobless filings, but now that trend has reversed. Now, a lot of what we see in markets, including the housing market, is confidence. And nobody has a crystal ball, but when people see the writing on the wall, when they see a change or a shift on the horizon, then people start to change their plans. And in this case, home sellers are probably thinking, hey, I better put this home on the market now because there could be things happening. A lot of people that bought homes in the past few years remember what happened in 2007, 2008. So uncertainty and confidence is just as important as actual shift in policies, such as rising mortgage rates and even a change in the mortgage lending landscape. And add on top of that, when you have expenses going up everywhere, people are really taking that into consideration, and that could put an additional element of fear into the minds of people deciding whether they're going to list their home on the market or sit and wait for maybe a better time to sell. Some people still think home prices are going to continue higher. And they may be right. We could see a reversal. We could see rates beginning to be cut. But that's not what's being forecasted from the engineers of this economy. These engineers are out there saying that there's future rate hikes in the cards, and that the economy needs to be, that the inflation needs to be slowed down with these rate hikes. Now, still on the topic of housing, let's talk about rents. And rents need to be looked at along with the housing market and home values and home prices, because what happens in one can affect the other. So, for example, when rents are high, it incentivizes people more towards buying a home because they figure, if I'm going to pay this much for rent each month, I might as well try to buy a home and pay maybe just a little bit more or even the same or even less in some markets. It depends on what you're talking about. But as of last month this year, April 2022, rents are up 2.5% year over year. and that's much lower than the growth we saw last year. In 2021, at this time, we were about 4%. And we were as high as 18% year over year at the end of 2021. So this increase in the cost of the median rent is much lower than what it was last year, but still higher than what it was in the 3 previous years before last year, 2018, 19, and 20. In 2020, we actually saw a dip in the cost of rents. And then we all know what happened after that. We had all the rescue programs, the stimulus, the foreclosure and rent moratoriums, and all those things basically threw the market into chaos and caused very unusual, to say the least, very unusual pricing and rents. And we'll show you another chart here from Apartment List. And as you can see here, so far this year, rent increases not as big as they were in 2021, but still rents are increasing. So we're going from rents that are already too high to even higher. So just because it's less than last year doesn't mean there's relief for renters. Rents are still increasing, just not as much as last year. So a lot of people, a lot of renters included, are being squeezed. Homeowners being squeezed. The cost of their insurance, the cost of their maintenance, the cost of their utilities all going up. People that went out and bought a new or used vehicle are paying much higher than they had to pay in the past for their vehicle in general, or for their payment if they're financing a vehicle. The parts shortages are causing insurance companies to have to pay more for vehicle repairs when there's car accidents and stuff like that. Also, homes being rebuilt and repaired, higher costs for everything from air conditioning to the materials and lumber, etc. And this all adds up to a lot of pain for a lot of people. And these sellers, these home sellers, need to decide if they're going to put their home on the market. And if they do, they're going to have to look at where to go, because rents are also still high and are not coming down. Even though the cost of the rent increases are slowing down, prices are still going up, rents are still going up. So myself here, just my forecast, I don't see a big tsunami of people looking to sell their homes. Yes, it's up 9% year over year. But nothing, in my opinion, nothing that's going to bring on a housing market crash. Yes, we could see price declines in certain cities, but there's still too many inflationary forces right now to have an actual housing market crash. Now, there's a lot of people out there still saying there's going to be a crash. I don't see it. I see this collapse, this economic collapse that we're going into, as more of an inflationary collapse. Yes, you'll see deflation in some areas, entertainment items. We're seeing a lot of the department stores overstocked with certain goods, but items that have limited production, including farming, automobiles, don't expect any crash or collapse in prices, and that includes the housing market. Let me know what you think down below. Sure, a crash would be nice. We'd all like better buying opportunities. I've talked here for years about how I'd like to upgrade to a bigger home. I'm living in about an 1,150 square foot home right now, and this we bought back in 2010, so we bought it a good time. We're happy we bought it, but it's too small. We've actually outgrown it, and I'm looking for a housing price market correction, just like all of you are. I wish I could sit here and tell you that homes are going to be half price next year. I just don't see that. No crash in the cards, even though the market dynamics are definitely changing. I hope everyone liked this report. Please let me know what you think down in the comments. Also, please help out this channel. We're having a very difficult time getting new subscribers. Sometimes bringing you the accurate information is not always popular. The people that are telling you that home prices are going to crash and they're going to be half price next year, well, a lot of them have been saying that for years and they've been wrong. But yet, because people want to hear that, they get so many more views than channels like mine, which have been honestly a lot more accurate than most of these other financial channels that you see out there. So if you like this information, if you appreciate the accurateness of this, please subscribe and help us out so we can stay alive here on this platform. Thanks everybody for being here. Big love. Stay well. Stay safe. Bye for now. Peace.